Happy World Oceans Day and welcome to join us today. Soon we will have two very interesting guests. And my name is Sini. I'm the project manager of To the Oceans project, and you can find us in the pages totheoceans.com. Now, what we do is we communicate about different angles about the vast seas of our time, and we try and add emotions towards the seas in a way that people feel that they are an important part of their lives. So what we do is we're a moderator, we're an introducer, we share many links, we create programs and projects. We work as a moderator in the way that we introduce factors to each other, and we bring forward those links that we find positive, legal, and enhancing transformative thinking about the oceans of the tomorrow. Now today, our guest will be Miss Carmen Smidt, who is a former ambassador of South Africa, of Finland. And Miss Smith is a very clever, positive influencer, multi-talented person who is not only a businesswoman, writer, coach, mentor, but she is also an internationalist and transformative coach. So she's an interesting, multi-talented influencer of our time. And I know Carmen Smith quite well, and I admire her positive power and way to always see a lotus in the mud, to do the structures work, to do the good thing. She's an environmentalist, definitely, and works for equal rights. Is an activist for female leadership in a good way, and a powerful influencer in her home area in South Africa, as well as in other African regions and abroad. So Carmen Smith is a great networker, definitely. And I am interested to hear about her visions about the oceans in her area. And our other guest today will be a young, talented lady who is already famous as a teen. She resides in Tamil Nadu in southern India, and her name is Vinisha Umashankar. You can find her in Instagram, YouTube, a lot of videos there about her and many interviews, LinkedIn, and she's an innovator, inventor, climate activist, and definitely a science fan. Vinisha Umashankar was one of the finalists at the Earthshot Prize 2021 platform, which she used in a way to have a positive impact, to sending message to the world leaders to listen to the young's opinions about tomorrow. Not only is she an inventor at a young age, but she's a clever speaker and influencer in her speeches across and in videos. Vinisha Umashankar, she wishes to lessen the amount of dirty charcoal in the world, and she is interested in researching the impact of charcoal in general. So this girl is definitely for a regenerative planet and an earth positive figure of our time. She is also the winner of the Youngster Award of Nico Rosberg's Green Tech Festival. So I will, at the age of 54, raise my hat for this young lady who is 40 years younger, but definitely an influencer I want to hear about in the future. So Vinisha Umashankar will join us to the show today as well to tell of her views how the young feel for the oceans of the tomorrow. And Carmen Smidt, she will tell of the respecting feeling she has for the oceans through the stories that she's experienced in her life. But when we do protect the oceans of the world, we need to understand their role as to be something to watch for, because we also need to know the true nature of nature. So respecting the oceans is protecting the oceans, and respecting the cycle of waters and the ocean life as nature has made it is an important mission for people for tomorrow. Now, To the Oceans project will be sharing a lot of videos and a lot of links at totheoceans.com in the future. This project is fairly new, but it is already expanding because of its different and transformative way to think of ocean protection. And our way is to share diversity in positive emotions about the seas. So this is our work. So we definitely are a communicator and a digital project so that we work in the internet. We have the wonderful Carmen Smidt as our guest. Happy Oceans Day. It's a wonderful time to see you again, and the light that is all over that room. It's amazing. But this is how you are. You're a very luminous character, a very powerful character, but in a positive way. I've known you for quite some while, and I admire your ability to be a multi-talented influencer of our time. So I would like to introduce Carmen Smidt to those who have not heard of her before, and she can continue to tell more about her future endeavors and what she's doing at the moment. But not only is she a clever speaker and a writer, she is also a transformative coach, an internationalist, a businesswoman, the former ambassador of South Africa in Finland, a very good friend of mine, and an environmentalist and equal rights activist, empowering women leadership in Africa. I admire Carmen for many reasons, and today we're sharing our love for in protecting the oceans and the environment. Now, what kind of stories would you like to share with us today about the topic respecting the oceans? I know you have a wild one there in your pocket.
Hi, Sini. Hi, everybody. It is great to be here. Happy Oceans Day. There is something wonderful about the oceans, as huge and wide as it is. And being a coastal kid, I thought I will display a bit of my coastalness today. And so I will share a bit of my journey and the oceans with all of you. A little bit more about myself. So, yes, I have all these roles that Sini so eloquently have introduced me on. But more than that, I believe that society really needs to go through a transformation process in all aspects so that we can live as better human beings with each other and that we can build each other. So part of my journey in everything is to see transformation happen, not just in my space, but in other spaces as well. And in order to do that, we need to have a bit of creativity in us. You know, the world sometimes makes us so academic that we lose our creative side, but the two combinations together within your mind can actually deliver so much more productivity than you could ever think of. But enough of that. Today is Oceans Day. The wonderful oceans that we have has seen many different transformation periods. And we must work towards restoring it to its former glory and enjoying it because it has so much depth to offer in terms of one's calmness and in terms of one's psyche. And one of the things for me is that bond with the ocean. There's something about water, just something about water that can bring you the greatest sense of peace. And if you allow me, I would like to share a bit of my journey, Sini, uh, if you allow me to go ahead and do that. Perfect. So, oh, you need to actually allow me access to share
Okay,
because
let's
right
try
now
it.
I'm
All right. Well, have here. Now I think it should be okay. Let's see if
Okay,
it
here
works.
we go. Perfect.
I love your glasses, by the way. I just love this outfit. It's like it's
Thank you so
you're a
much.
great dresser. I know you well. I mean, I was always amazed
I, I,
every
I'm
time you surprise
actually,
me.
I just want to go to Windows so that we can get into the share world. I don't need the entire screen. I don't need the Chrome. Maybe I should just close the video for a while.
Okay, close the video for a while, and Carmen will be joining us in a while. She's here, but her video is muted for the while. Carmen is located at the moment in Johannesburg in South Africa. And sometimes in South Africa, the connections are not so good. So it is a luxury to have a good connection of internet. And these things are not always self-explanatory. So this is an interesting part of the global scene today that sometimes technicalities are a bit challenging. But as we wait for Carmen to get her video back, she is still here with us. World Ocean Day across the globe is already hugely famous and has an important impact because every time there is the 8th of June, people do listen. They listen to the message of worldoceanday.org. That is a page where there's a lot of events. And I was on my personal way influencing the local high school students here in my home area where I live, which is at the Nordic areas of the Arctic Circle region. And here I was talking to the students about the importance of thinking globally, even though we are in a small area up here in North. And here we
So
have Carmen back again. So we were just talking about the worldoceanday.org pages, and there is a high school group that over here made their event to these pages, which is nice because we are the only ones at the Arctic Circle who are represented there. So I thought that was very cool to say the least.
I think that's absolute fantastic because you know the Arctic Circle really resonates with me.
Yeah,
You know our journeys together in the Arctic Circle, but that's a topic
yeah,
about snow we should have on another day. But if you allow me to
absolutely.
share again, I will get it right this time, and and be able to share. You just need to give me access.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have the access at the moment? Hold on just a
No,
moment.
I don't.
There, the access should be okay.
Okay.
And it was there a while ago, but for some reason, I was just telling the audience that sometimes when there are different kind of Wi-Fi's in
Yeah.
areas, the technical challenges can be there, but Zoom is a great way to share without problems. Just we just return and we start again, and there we see the screen already, so the sharing is working fine. I enjoy myself personally Zooms that are very authentic. So people are, it's about real
Are you
people
able
and
to
real.
see the video now?
Now it shows your screen with the files.
Hey.
And I think if you double click or click another time the video, it will begin.
Okay.
So we're in
Can
no
you see
hurry
it now?
anywhere. Um, Not yet. We see the avatars of the files.
Maybe I think I know what it is. Let me just.
Yes,
Um,
there's no hurry anywhere. I like
um,
programs to be very authentic, just like
oh, it
when
says
you're
stop. Let me
speaking.
stop sharing and then try again.
Okay, I'll just check
Because
the
I don't
access is
understand.
still
It's
open.
supposed to just be so simple. to share. So I used to do this before. It's not the first time. So I'm actually
Would you like to share an image or photos if you have them there
it is
ready?
it's a video actually that I actually put together as a presentation. So I don't understand why it is being funny and it doesn't want me to share the video. Um, so there we go. Let me
But
just
these
check.
are of no worry because there are just so many stories about respecting the oceans. Like when I think of the visions that I've seen in the images you shared to me from the coastlines of South
Yeah.
Africa,
Okay,
they're
there we
really
go.
powerful waters there. And the story about how you were almost drowned in this current when you went swimming. I thought that was a great story of knowing the nature of oceans, which is power. So we need to see the true nature of nature when we go out
Yeah.
there. And the ocean isn't always easy, it can be highly dangerous, but
No, it can.
it
And
has all of those elements about it.
and that I think people take it for granted because one of the things that I learned about the oceans is that um, okay, I've got it. I had to
Okay.
open it first. One of the things that I learned when I was young, I grew up close to the coast, 10 minutes walk from the one side. But if I wanted to run, because I was an athlete back then, so if I wanted to run, I actually took the longer route. And one of the
Yeah.
things that I did long distance cross country. And so my brother was one of my key trainers. So he used to make me do the hills. Where we stayed, there was something called Strampfontein Pavilion, which I will show now. Um, so at Strampfontein Pavilion, there was like, the sand dunes but they were able to put grass on there and the grass grew. And that was my training ground. And it went up and down and up and down. And then we would run along the beach. Picture running in sea sand. I mean, that is no easy task because that really hits your calves. Um, and it actually hits your knees to quite an extent because it's like deep and you have to run. And so for me, I really enjoyed running. But at that stage of my life, I was actually an introvert, believe it or not. And so much of my sense of communication was in writing. And I had a bit of a creative side and attempted to write poetry. So I used to run in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock, and safety was there. I could run on my own to that beach. Through the bushes, it was safe. Unlike today, where we have lots of challenges. Not that there wasn't challenges for women then, but unlike today, we we were able to. I could get up at 5, run on my own, and I had a little book with a pen. I used to watch the sunrise because there's something about sunrise and sunsets that just mesmerize everybody. And I love beautiful sunsets and I love beautiful sunrises. So I used to make a point of getting there before sunrise. As soon as the sun rose, I used to do my meditation and I used to write. I used to write my poetry. And as you know, I'm also deeply spiritual. So that was part of my connection with my maker. And that's something that deeply still defines me today. That I love sitting in the open in the morning and just absorbing the day and being grateful for another day. The only thing that I miss where I stay right now, because I stay in the city of the financial capital of economics, and it's a concrete jungle. with no water. So I really miss the sea, but I make a concerted effort to get to the sea at least almost once a year. It's only in the last year I haven't done it, but now I will definitely make some time to get back because it has a way of cleansing my mind, my soul, my spirit. And once I get there, it brings out this other side of me that has the greatest excitement. It's like a small child being back home, um, being playful because you're there by that one thing that really impacts you. And that is the ocean for me.
Carmen, isn't it interesting that how you describe? I feel the same with the Arctic Ocean, that totally different oceans, totally different environment and climate. And still, you're down there in South Africa, very low, and I'm here at the higher places at the Arctic Circle. And what you describe, I just feel so I can relate to your emotions equal. Like we are people from different cultures, friends, but still, I can relate to your feelings about the oceans when you tell about it. So it's not only about going there and looking at the ocean, but it's about feeling it and being present with it. And I believe whoever made this for us to feel somehow whole. So people need the cycle of waters. We need to be near water and go to that. It can be misty rain on the face. It can be the ocean wave. It can be a wonderful sunset of peaceful, quiet river. But somehow the water is a part of us. And in your case, I feel fascinated about your stories. In South Africa, I've seen the photos, the great light, the light is all over, and those huge waves. I cannot imagine how they feel because I have never been there. So I've never been to the
I
African
can tell
continent.
you a story about how that feels. So when I was younger, I was very adventurous and I would swim distance, take the risk to do that. Now in Cape Town, there's two oceans, and there's a point that they call Cape Point, where the two oceans meet. So we have a warm current ocean and a cold current ocean. And where you can even, when you go to Cape Point, you can see the colors merging as as they meet. Then the southernmost point is quite a distance away. I think it's about a 3 hour drive, which is also the point where the two oceans meet. And honestly, it is beautiful. It's absolutely amazing when you see this because the colors, the but in my adventurous self, we went camping. It was during my school years. So I swam out with all the kids. The next minute, I was on the beach, mouth to mouth resuscitation. One of our camp leaders actually managed to get me out of the water and resuscitate me. So, as beautiful as the ocean is, you need to understand it, that it has different currents, that it's got low tide, it's got high tide. And you must never take the ocean for granted because you must always obey the lifeguards. Because if they say don't swim outside
Mm.
that perimeter, don't swim outside that perimeter. But you know, people are people and they always do their own thing. And that was a lesson lesson. And that was the first time that happened. The second time it happened, one of my family members had to get me out. So now I treat the ocean with the greatest of respect. I do enjoy myself, but I also do it with measure and do not take it for granted that I can just jump over every wave and just continue. And then where we grew up, right? Um, I will just show a bit of the video so that you can see. Um,
And while we are putting the video, how do
I'm
you
sure you can
feel?
see it now.
Okay, here it is. Great.
Okay, so this
Here it
is
is.
the Western Cape. Do you see the long coastline that we have
Yes.
on this? And at this point here, it's called, um, so these are all the blue flag beaches, right? Which
Yes.
means it's very good beaches. So at this point here is where I'm from, the
Yes.
Strandfontein Muizenberg area, but I'm from Strandfontein. And this is just Cape Town. Cape Town is this part here. And what is interesting about it is look at our coastline, the west coast, the south coast. And so you have on this side the Atlantic Ocean, on this side you have the Indian Ocean. And
Yes.
that is where the two oceans meet at that point over there. And that's absolutely awesome if you
It
actually look
is.
at it. So this just gives you some of the beaches that have been voted as very good beaches, and our beach seems to be one of those. And if we go a bit further, this is home. So this is home where I grew up,
Yes.
right? I just will take it a bit back. So this is home where I grew up. Strandfontein, this is Strandfontein Pavilion. Look on a good day how beautiful. All the people come out and from all over. People used to come from all over. Actually, that's the time I didn't like going to the beach because it was so full. I'm more of an early morning person or an evening person when everybody's going home. And so I used to spend my best time there at the beach when it's not so full. And so this year, if you go further down on this coastline, this spot where the kids are is called 9 miles, which you will find over here. So we used to, so this is the coast that I'm talking about that I used to run in the sand from there right down to 9 miles up to Blue Waters. Um, and isn't this absolutely amazing to
It
grow up in
is.
this environment? And one of the
And
things I still struggle with is walking on high-heeled shoes because I was a barefoot child. Yeah, because coastal kids are like that. We hardly wear shoes. So I have to really work my stuff if I have to wear heels. Um, 'Cause heels was not one of my favorite things. And
knowing
if you,
your hairstyle, knowing your
but this is the,
hairstyle, you always have
yeah,
an impeccable, beautiful taste in dressing. So that's why I'm laughing when you speak about the heels, because I know they will be beautiful ones when you wear
yeah.
them there. But it's quickly to ask a question before we continue.
Mhm.
How do you feel when these two oceans meet at the very tip of the end of the ocean areas there? How do you feel it has a role in the
I feel
feeling of
excited.
your country?
I feel in awe because the wonders of nature is something else. You
Yes,
know, the creator of these oceans has done such great wonders. Just look at this picture, how widespread the ocean is. And then you bring two oceans, different colors, different currents, different temperatures. Because I know Finland is very, very, very cold. So we've got one of those called the Atlantic seaboard. And then on the other side, the Indian Ocean is very warm. And you see this contrast when you're standing there at Cape Point and you just have to take a deep breath and just look at the amazing conjecture of two different currents coming together and the beauty of it. It's absolutely awesome.
That sounds so amazing, and I have never seen that. It's like how. So I'm just using my imagination while I listen to your story. It's a wonderful story. And how do you feel your nation and people there feel about the ocean? Do they respect it? Like, do they have this will to protect the oceans? Do they feel it as part of their real lives and real being?
I would say that people do have. Let's look at there's different cultures, different belief systems, but people also believe in many cultures that the sea cleanse. So in that way, they actually, especially people that don't live near the ocean, will travel
Yes.
the length and the breadth of this country. This is only one side of South Africa, to actually just bond with the ocean. In that way, you find quite a substantial respect for the ocean. One of the challenges used to be that people used to go for the day and just dump their stuff, don't pick up their litter and things like that. But that all has changed because there's strict rules around that. So people
Yeah.
are much more caring about that. The other thing is, as you know, I told you that I come from a fishing lineage. So the resources of the ocean needs to be replenished, and but it needs to be replenished in a more natural way. Because I know there's a lot of technology and stuff like that is coming up to breed. But in terms of the protein and the vitamins and all those things that we actually need in our system, sometimes I think harvesting some of the fish, it's not one of the most healthiest things to do. It might be able to produce quantity, but the question is, does it really produce quality? Because I grew up with quality fish, and I love fresh fish from the ocean, going early in the morning. And then the other thing is, we must actually really ask business not to dump. Because you see, this beautiful penguins here will get affected heavily by the overspillage and things like that. So, to some extent, human beings have had a bit of a disregard for the well-being of the resources of the sea. But it's important because life has cycles, and every being has a contribution to human beings' well-being. And in those cycles, you need birds, you need penguins, you need sharks, you need all the different elements in order to create a healthy, holistic environment.
Absolutely, diversity needs to be there, and it is highly threatened at these moments, even though there are new sea treaties made, which are a good progress, but more needs to be done. When you go to the ocean, which are the animals, including penguins, that inspire you most that you see at the
The,
shorelines?
the dolphins, everybody loves a dolphin. So when it's dolphin season, it's it's absolutely amazing to watch them swim past the boats. And I did that with my daughter when she was very young, and she got so excited we had to run around on the boat so that she doesn't jump over to try and catch the dolphin. Um, but it is one of the most inspiring creatures. And then we also something called Seal Island. So we have a lot of seals. The penguins, yeah, on Boulders Beach, which is near the Cape Point where the two oceans meet. It's near there. Um, I love penguins. I think they're the cutest little um, animals, sea animals. And then
It's, it's just so
I think,
lovely. Oh, sorry, there was a little delay there, Carmen. Just please continue.
and then, there is other little things that one sees, the smaller things, the starfishes, the jellyfish, the ocean. Some of these things we eat. I like crayfish and prawns. I like seafood. I really enjoy it. Um, but everything has a cycle. And so how we harvest them becomes very important. And then
Yes,
sharks. Sharks are amazing creatures. I will never go near a shark. When they say get out of the water, there are sharks in the water because sharks appear in the warmer ocean, and that was the coastline which I grew up in. So when the lifeguard says there's sharks, you must get out, you must get out. A lot of people stay in the water. And then you hear about the stories that they've been bitten by the shark or they swim outside the perimeter that the lifeguard has set. So it's that type of respect that you need to have for the people that's giving you the correct advice.
absolutely. And when you think about the shark, it's such an old species. It's been around for so long. And I see
Mm,
the shark as the ocean cleanser that they clean a lot of
yeah.
dead animals from the oceans and other things. So sharks are needed to keep the waters clean and important part of the ecosystem and diversity. So it has its own role and important one as well. One of my favorite creatures is the big whale, like for many people is, and
Oh, yeah.
I see them as the protectors of the oxygen and many things that we need, and the whole big sea content. So the whale is my favorite. But the diversity and the multiple amount of many species that nature has made is so important. And this is now threatened by industrial fishing and many things like that. So when you
Mm.
speak about the uh, like basic fishing industry, like those fishermen's getting to do their job like they always did, and to have many of them do that in a very sustainable way is a good way to do fishing. So the industrial fishing is threatening diversity by causing damage to the ecosystem.
Mhm.
So fishing, the same word, describes so many different things about fishing. It can be damaging huge industrial fishing or in balance with the ecosystem, sustainable fishing, which has done by humankind forever. And this I know you support, so I support this as well. That this fish taken from fresh from the sea itself is wonderful, a wonderful meal.
So true, because I'd maybe industrial fishing does work in terms of creating supply and meeting demands. But the one challenge with industrial fishing is that it also affects the livelihood of the people that used to be fishermen and were able to. So you have less fish in the ocean. You have less people employed or working for themselves in terms of being able to have a livelihood.
What I
And so,
find
yes, I
so
agree
charming,
with you fully on that. I also want to
thank you.
just highlight, can
Uh-huh.
you hear me?
Thank you, Carmen. Quickly to note on your abilities, because I've known Carmen for a while and she's highly intellectual and able to do many kind of works, but worked as an ambassador in Helsinki and for Estonia, representing South Africa. And when I saw her do her work, she was always enhancing positive cooperation and the future of balance and equality and equal rights. So uh, it's so charming to see you talk about the oceans in a very heartfelt way, so openly and so humble. Because I know that as a person, you're capable of taking any book and any role and do that in a powerful, empowering way. And still, in your heart, you have so much love and care for the future that you share us this emotion in this moment to be open into just meeting the oceans as what they are. This is charming in an individual who has power and who is a powerful, very smart operator in her job. So, this side of someone towards the oceans is something that I would be so happy to see in many people who are in those power places and who have political power or have a position to have an impact, that they would also open their hearts and to just be and to respect this huge truth of diversity that was created. Because what else do we have? We walk on this planet, we need it. So unless we take care of these oceans and respect them, we don't have them anymore.
Sini, you know, thanks for your very mm, beautiful articulation of who I am. It's important to have a balanced existence. It took me a long time to learn because, in life you work very hard because you want to make things happen. But then I realized there was something missing if I was just all work. And the one thing I realized at some point, it was being away from water, as I told you growing up, because it gave me that balanced existence. And as you can see, even on these pictures, I'm very happy. You can see there's a sense of peace that comes across me when I get to the ocean. And sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a walk on the beach, sit, and as the sunset, I think this picture of me with the sunset behind just shows that the beauty of the ocean and the appreciation of the ocean will then make us look at things differently and look at things differently because we have to allow that there is an ocean with the necessary sea animals available for the generation of tomorrow. The one thing that I love technology. I love being able to do this. But what you find is that many children don't spend time anymore actually going to the ocean, or they spend a lot of time seeing it on the devices, digital devices, but they don't actually have that experience. And that's something I would encourage that even young people go out and have that experience so that they for themselves can see what the ocean brings and continue to create the value addition that we actually need to ensure that the environment is taken care of. Don't you think that this picture here, Sydney, with at Cape Point Vineyard, this
Yes,
is this is from the building, And as you can see, this is the vineyard here. And then the sea is at the bottom of the vineyard. It's
Yes.
absolutely awesome. There's so many wonderful, one of the things you only hear about, most of the time you hear about the challenges in the African continent. But there are so many beautiful places to preserve beautifully in this continent, particularly along the coastline.
I will be so happy to invite you to tell us more stories as a regular guest into the oceans.com projects. It would be wonderful to hear more because you have so much to offer from the African continent, but not only there, but the global awareness of environment, oceans, and today. Your knowledge is so wide, Carmen, that I would be happy to have you as a guest again to tell these stories because it's if we make a video of the oceans and show it on the screen as a movie, or if we go somewhere and say, hey, this is the ocean, it's only kind of an experience. And those experiences are now offered a lot. But then we need to get people to feel that the oceans are a part of their lives. And now we have Vinisha Umashankar join us as well. And welcome, Vinisha. Can you hear us there? Your microphone is muted, but now it's on. And welcome to join us.
Thank you so
Welcome,
much for
Vinisha.
having me. Just can I check, am I audible?
Yes,
Thank you
you are
very much.
audible.
You're audible, and may I present to you Carmen Smidt, the former ambassador of South Africa to Finland. She's now in South Africa at the moment during this program. And I am here, Sini Kunnas, I'm here at the Arctic Circle near the Nordic Oceans. So we're so delighted, Vinisha, to have you today. And I would like to introduce you to the audience.
Sure.
So, and welcome, and you're in India at the moment. So nice to see you.
Yes, I'm in India at the moment, in my hometown. So I'm really looking forward to this as well.
Thank you, Vinisha, for giving us your time. And I would like to introduce you to the audience, and then you can continue from my introduction, but I'll just start so that people know who you are. So Vinisha Umashankar is a young lady. She's a teenager, but she's already well known. And she's an innovator, inventor, climate activist, and definitely a science fan. So Vinisha Umashankar is a winner of the Youngster Award of Nico Rosberg's Green Tech Festival. And you were a finalist at the Earthshot Prize 2021. And then you won the part that prized you for the solar ironing cart that you have invented, which will be diminishing the amount of dirty charcoal in the world. And you have probably 1 million people seeing your videos. So I'm very proud of your work. I was Googling and seeing on YouTube a few of those. So you're pretty famous by now, even though you are still in school and a young lady. But if
Thank
you
you so
want to,
much.
thank you. And if you want to find information about Vinisha's work by the name Vinisha Umashankar, you can find YouTube videos, her LinkedIn pages, her Instagram pages, and she resides in Tamil Nadu, India, in the southern areas of India. So are you there at the moment?
Yes, I am here at the moment in my hometown, which is Tiruvannamalai, which translates to Holy Mountain, and about 4 hours away from the capital of the state.
Happy Ocean Day today, Vinisha.
Thank you
And
so much.
we can call you a true environmentalist. You've done a huge work to speak for the environment, and And you're like a top inventor. I mean, we can just see what you're going to do next. You're just young, so you can do a
Yes.
lot of things. So wonderful. And today, for the World Ocean Day, we would like to hear your views as a young person and inventor, as a famous influencer for the environment, a global influencer and a prize winner, how you would see that the young should relate to the oceans today.
Yes.
And is there some image that you would like to share with us that you are seeing there?
If you could just give me a minute.
No worries. On World Ocean Day, we're in no hurry anyway. Oceans have been here forever and they will hopefully stay. So the only clock
Okay.
today is the nature's clock. And we were just speaking with Miss Carmen Smidt that it's very important to, during these Zoom shows, to be ourselves, because we can empower people by doing that. So no need to be including in the protocol. We can just take it quite easy.
Sure. I I don't have images to show, but I would like to share a few experiences of mine and a few takes on what I believe we can do for the ocean and a few problems we can solve. So could I go ahead with that?
Wonderful. Thank you. We'd love to hear it.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to start off with life. We're all different forms of life on this planet, and sometimes we get carried away with our own work, and sometimes we just have to take a step back and look at all the wonderful things that our planet has provided us with, and how we take those things for granted. And our oceans are one of them. Being 71% of this planet, our oceans cover almost all area of it. And it's a great source of water. It's a huge source of water. But we often, more than not, take it for granted and don't give it a second thought. Near the ocean from my childhood, when I was in second or third grade, we used to go to the ocean near the beach, and I still have a small box, a collection of shells from my childhood. And I used to look for a certain type of shells near the ocean, and I used to collect them. It was a very special experience, and the beaches were so clean. And there was just a mangrove forest in the background, and we used to go there as a family. And those experiences and memories are very special to me. But just a few months ago, we went to the beach, and it was the one in my capital, so Chennai. And I was so devastated to see the pollution in the ocean over there. It was so saddening. And even though there are beach cleanups, the amount of pollution in the ocean isn't decreasing by any count. We have so many organizations working towards it, and it's an amazing effort. We have to keep this up because the amount of pollution in the oceans right now is reaching astounding levels. I also read about the 70% of garbage that we uh, disclose is ending up in the oceans and harming marine life. Isn't it bad enough that a patch of garbage accumulates in the Pacific Ocean so often that we had to name it the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? It's accumulating during every current cycle that we had to give a name to it. And it's not just the garbage on the surface, it's the one below the surface as well, in the form of microplastics, which is even harder to separate from the ocean than normal plastic is. But the good news is there are people working towards this. And in an event just a month ago at the British Deputy High Commission, I met a group of college students who are working to create an invention that could help count and survey the amount of microplastics in the ocean, which I think is a really great effort as well. So that's something I was really interested in and I wanted to share. A few other issues with the ocean are the fish population being overexploited has caused a significant decrease in its numbers. And although the gruesome practice of fish exploitation and shark finning is banned in most countries, it's remained unmonitored, which led to an increase in this over the past decade, actually, opposing to its decrease. And with low reproduction rates, these sharks' repopulation is much more difficult. And being the top predator of the food web, if sharks decrease, then mid level predators and prey will explode in population, which completely disrupts the ecosystem of the oceans and the surrounding area. And these are just a lot of the global problems which contribute towards the collective ocean issues. And there are several of them we could take and solve. So, with the World Ocean Days theme this year being revitalization, I realized that volunteering to be part of groups would be a great help. So that's one thing I will be working towards in the future is being part of a volunteer team because where I live, I don't get such opportunities, but it's something I would very gladly be a part of because the oceans are something that I really would like to preserve. And there's a lot in this world which we are yet to experience. There are a lot of secrets which are yet to be discovered. We shouldn't destroy them before they're even found. So there's a lot I would like to do in the future and contribute. And being the younger generation, it's our responsibility to carry forward the future in a much more sustainable manner. So I will do my research and do anything I can to help preserve our oceans as they are today.
Wow, that would be wonderful. And you've already done so much. I can just imagine how much it will be increasing your huge work. Um, how would you encourage the young to begin? They might think, okay, I want to join in, I want to be part of this. What do they do? Will they send you an email or contact you? Where to start?
Well, of course, if you would like to contact me, I'm available on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. So you could contact me there if you would like to speak about this. And on the topic of tips for youngsters towards climate change and ocean revitalization, there's a lot we can do, but our power is limited because we are still in the A level of school and college. But if we come together, we can definitely make change and raise awareness. Our first key here is social media. With the age of technology and social media, nowadays it's easy to give our opinions online. So we have to use this platform for good. We can easily spread messages of how we can help the ocean, how we can volunteer, and even help other people with opportunities. So that's one thing that I've been doing and I've been grateful for with social media and the internet. It's been so easy to connect with people and learn from them and gain opportunities that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to access. So that's a great thing about today's technology. So really take advantage of that and use it to gain these opportunities and use it to put yourself out there and join volunteer organizations and get help because that's a big step towards contributing to our oceans and our planet. Raise awareness and volunteer and gain opportunities. These are the three best things we can do as of now.
Absolutely. And the oceans belong to all of us. So we do need to unite
Absolutely.
across the whole world. And even though I'm here by the Arctic Ocean and you are down at the southern Indian areas, we feel similar needs about the world
Yes.
oceans. And just like a while ago, we were speaking with Carmen Smidt that She's in South Africa and I'm here. Still, we relate to this feeling of the respect for the oceans and how we want the future generations to be free from polluting and deep sea mining and industrial fishing that cause disbalance in the ocean, because it can be also done in a balanced way, but at this moment it's not. So when we do take things from the nature, we need to find a sustainable way to do that in the way that the nature still remains. This is what we are very interested to do here in Finland and in Scandinavia, is to work with the sustainable development and to create businesses that also cooperate with nature. So my people here, we like to go to the forest and go to the lakes and listen to the sounds of the woods and the sounds of that moment. We call the nature our temple. So it is deeply connected to us, and we have over 1,000 lakes, and also in addition the surrounding seas. So seas and waters and the water cycles belong to all of us. So we need to unite, and we can together begin to cooperate. And these first moments are the way to start. A little drop makes a start for a big ocean. So we together decide to start.
Exactly. The fact that you said one drop can make a bigger ocean one day is actually something I've said in one of my previous talks, because as one person, we can only do so much. But when a lot of people come together, even the littlest of differences can make a huge change. So even when it comes to the small things we do every day to protect our environment, if many people do it together, it can create a huge change, something we wouldn't have expected. But if we think about it, it's very practical and very simple to do.
Absolutely. And one of the things that To the Oceans project does, our project, totheoceans.com, is networks people. So we hope that after this Zoom show, you and Carmen Smidt will be a network together to connect and share ideas how to unite forces, because you both have
Absolutely.
so much to give and have your own, even though different ages, but have your own future goals that are so beautiful. So I thank you dearly for your visit today, and we want to hear more of you. So salute to your work, Vinisha. It's just
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
And your parents must be really proud of you, and not only them, but the whole family and everybody who knows you, because we definitely are. And how would you like to end this show in the way that what would you like to say to all the global young uh, who might not be as active as you, but how can we make them wake up to care for the oceans? What kind of a message
Okay.
would that be?
Yes, I usually say a message whenever I deliver an address to school or college. It's to always believe in yourself and your ideas. And I know this is easier said than done, but whenever I started with my environmental projects and innovations, there were always people who were there to say that this won't work, or this is too much, or you should be focusing on school instead. And there will be people who will always have something to say about what you do. It doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong, or even if it's unconventional, it doesn't mean you're going on the wrong path, because different doesn't necessarily mean wrong. You're going on a path that's going to help protect our planet. You're going on a path that could potentially change the future. And there are going to be people who don't get that, and that's fine. What you have to realize is you should believe in yourself and your idea's ability to make an impact. So when you have that down, all you can expect from then on is success in your idea. and yourself, because you are going to make a change. And with our world's oceans, our world's forests, and everything else on this planet, every single person has something to provide. And if we all come together, we can make a change. And that's the message I would like them to hear.
I love that message. I hope they hear us. And so we will be following your future inventions and wishing you a lovely summer. Thank you for joining. And
Thank you for having me.
let's stay in touch. And I hope you are now, after this, connected with Carmen Smidt. She's also on LinkedIn, to all of the viewers as well. Carmen has a lot to say. As a former ambassador, she's been in a key position, but she is influencing many things as a coach, as a business manager, as a writer and speaker. So she has a lot on her table in a good way, and is definitely an environmentalist as well. So this is what we three women share today. We care for the future of the world and the nature, and let's wish everybody a happy World Ocean Day today.
Happy World Ocean
Happy
Day.
World Ocean Day.
Thank you, Vinisha.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
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 Bye.